First of all, I want to hear your 2 cents on Black Lives Matter, the movement. What do you think of it?
Well, I think that people have to understand there's a difference between the local Black Lives Matter, which are organic, and grassroots, such as the ones that began in places like Ferguson. But there's a difference between these kind of grassroots organizations and this quote National Black Lives Matter, which is funded by George Soros, the CIA, and the bankers, which is what we're really seeing here in New York City.
Right.
If you notice, they talk about non-issues like defunding the police. That's ridiculous because they're not replacing it, let's say, with a civilian police force. What their argument is, we'll defund the police. Well, what they really mean is that they want the military to come in because they're bankers, and that's in their interest to have the military come in. Blackwater will be coming back from Iraq. Those people will need a job, and that's what they're thinking.
No, it's definitely an important movement. People have to assert their rights, and if they're being mistreated, we need to make sure that people should all be treated equal, right?
Exactly.
The movement to establish those equal rights is very important. As long as we're all on the same page that corporations are, more important people than humans. That's my main point.
Why don't we discuss defunding the military? I mean, we have a military where we spend more, 9 times more than the next 10 militaries combined? We don't need to. What about auditing the military? I mean, we could use that money for health care. We could use that money for quality education. We can use that money to rebuild the infrastructure. I mean, if you're going to really talk about defunding something, it should be cutting the military.
Okay, so basically, a Black Lives Matter goal to defund the police department is not going to implement. It's an act.
That's acting.
Either way, there's going to be more cops.
They're going to keep on doing it.
They're going to keep on doing it.
They're going to keep on doing it. It's never going to stop.
How do you feel about police brutality as a white individual?
I think it's an epidemic in the country.
Okay.
Because it happens all the time to people of color. It does not happen to white people. Not nearly at the same level. People should not walk down the street and feel afraid. People walk down the street and feel afraid. That's just unjust. You see videos of people killing. You see videos not even being killed, and there's so much that doesn't even get filmed at all.
Defunding to me means rerouting billions of dollars that the police don't need back into the communities that do need them. After school programs, education programs. There's so many things to be done. We can police our own neighborhoods as well. Working with the police, in partnership with the police. Many police officers don't live in our neighborhoods. They live in other places.
Yes.
Why don't we have officers that live in our neighborhoods?
Okay, so basically you want less police force in the neighborhood.
Less brutality.
Less brutality.
You need a police force, but they don't have to be brutal. And they don't need to be militarized.
Do you believe that the cops are out there to target minorities, African Americans?
Yes. Because out their own mouth, they confess to be these so-called black people. So they target the black people with the Christian black codes of 1724. That is still in operation.
Okay. We've seen a lot of evidence of it.
Yeah, there's so much evidence, and it doesn't happen. And even the times when there is no evidence, and not even the people who die, people who are just afraid. There's this video of a guy, and the police pulled him over, and he was on the ground with his hands up, saying, I don't have a weapon. He got pulled over for a stop sign. That kind of fear is not acceptable.
I have a black son. He's 35 years old. He's 6'4", 300 pounds.
Wow.
He gets stopped regularly. He knows the There's a way to address that as well. The guns are not made in the hood. They're not made in the neighborhoods that you see them. Where do they come from? Usually some white supplier that's bringing it into the neighborhood, just like they did with crack. Guns are supplied and funneled into the neighborhoods on purpose.
Okay.
There's no factories that are making guns where these kids live or where adults live. Where are they getting the guns? We need to address that.
Oh, I see.
Guns are illegal in your city, right? You can have a gun.
They are. They are.
And I heard it's hard to get a gun here legally. If I want to get a gun, I have to go through a lot of hoops.
For some
I have a clean record. I work for the government. My daughter told me that it's not easy to get a gun.
Not at all. Not at all.
But it gets you to that point, you feel like, I'm fearing the police, I'm not fearing the guy next to me. The police are going to kick down my door and shoot me saying, oh, we have the wrong address.
Since they don't want them to wake up.
As you mentioned earlier, that in our neighborhood we're killing each other. How do you assimilate that to, cops killing black people?
Put them in a position where they got to fight So then that means they kill themselves.
The government putting us.
Yeah, so-called de facto government put them into a project for them to kill themselves.
Okay.
Then the police doesn't have to do so much.
And it needs to end because it's happened long enough, and enough is enough. And it's one of the biggest injustices that we have in this country.
Okay, so we heard quite a bit about defunding the police department, and I would like to know what's your thought on it, and then what should be implemented.
Defunding the police is taking money away from the egregiously large police budget.
Okay.
The New York City police, the NYPD budget is $6 billion.
When I came back here in 2000, I heard about Sean Bell. You know who Sean Bell was? Sean Bell was a gentleman that was going out with his friends. You're going to get married. What do you guys do? Hey, but let's take you out, right?
Right.
They call it a bachelor party. He's going out to the club, whatever, with friends. Plain clothes policeman, he didn't know. Somebody rolls up on you and they're jumping you and your friends. You think, oh my God, we're being jumped. You're going to defend yourself or run away. It was plain clothes police officers. They shot him to death.
Really?
He had no weapon. The only weapon they said he had was a car because he's trying to back away to get away from some police. They never announced they were police like they did to that girl Brianna the other day. You know, they did to that girl. They busted her. They jumped on them, plain clothes. They thought it was some regular guys jumping them.
How do you feel about police brutality as a white individual?
I mean, the issue is that police brutality is part of the system. It's a capitalist system of
Okay.
those who have and don't have.
And do you think that the African Americans are more targeted because of the
Of course,
color of the
because we
skin?
have racism.
Okay.
But the issue is that that doesn't mean that because you're white, you don't get beat up by the police. It doesn't mean you don't get arrested because you're white. The issue
Okay.
is that you're more likely to be arrested if you're white.
Okay. And what?
But I mean, that's why it's important that we don't make this into an issue of identity politics where we say only black people suffer from this, because that's not true. Okay? The issue is that we all need to unite, both black and white workers.
Okay.
I mean, this is why labor was successful, let's say in the 1890s, because they understood the whole question of black and white unite. The Black Panthers, you know.
Sure.
So how do you feel about police brutality?
Yeah, it's too bad. It's not a good thing. I don't like people getting hurt.
Right?
At the same time, it's difficult when people stray outside the norms of the rigid society that we're supposed to be living in.
So what do you think should be implemented in order to not have situations such as the death of George Floyd?
Well, I support police reform if it does not come at the cost of putting more money into police budgets. Police do need more training. To be a police officer, you just need around 21 weeks of training.
Okay.
It's clearly not enough. If you look at, some other countries in Europe, training 2 to 3 years.
What are you really referring to by we're killing our own selves? As
When we kill on ourselves, they program us like rats.
okay. So
And then they segregate us within our own project.
so do you think that the corporations are for the interest of the people?
I think their interests are more important than the interests of the people. It's kind of neoliberalism celebrates the privatization of wealth and the socialization of losses.
Yeah.
So when you have a small amount of people who get really rich at the expense of the public.
Like just the stock just go out. So you need consumers. Consumers are the one really pushing the price
Well,
up.
they depend on us to buy. And
Yeah, and
yes.
as you can see, many advertisements, that's all they're about. Like,
Right.
trying to get people to
More and
consume
more
more and
consuming.
more and
Yeah,
more.
exactly.
And then next thing you know, the
Beautiful.
stocks are just keep going prices.
I saw an article the other day. Even though income inequality is at highs that we haven't seen since the Great Depression,
Yeah,
the Nasdaq was at record highs.
yeah,
You have
yeah,
the stock market
yeah.
at incredible highs and
Yeah.
gains, and the people don't have most of the money.
A lot of people don't own equities in the market. They
Right.
don't own any stakes. It's just that it can be hard for them to really get ahead.
yeah.
Just like you say, you got to pull yourself by your bootstraps.
Right. So maybe they should just be born to richer families.
If they're not, what can be done? Like, how they can, get a better life? What would you suggest?
Right.
Especially-
well, that's kind of why I'm advocating also to, if you aren't born there, just kind of accept your role as a consumer. And sure, maybe you won't be one of the people who's sharing in the biggest, the wealthiest nation, the country's richest time period. Maybe
Yeah.
you're not getting you're fighting for the crumbs of that pie, while a very small amount of people are able to have as much as the pie as they want. But I'm trying to say swallow that pill and just accept it.